This is my passion project by Carson, Bartlett. Go-karting. Go-karting is a sport of racing or riding on go-karts. When you think of go-karting, do you think of this or this? Go-karting can be traveling 111 kilometers an hour on a bank super speedway. My research question was, what does it really take to be a successful go-karting driver? Most people think it's easy, but I'm here to tell you how complicated it can be. I chose the subject because it is something I love, something I am still learning, and most kids want to know more about it and more behind it. I did some research. I wanted to know about successful drivers. I also had some new learning on my own. In my research, I found that there are essential elements. Number 1, hardware, the driver. I chose hardware because a good driver can drive anything. Just like a car can have any engine under the hood and any computer can have different capabilities. And 2, software, equipment and setup. This is also the focus of my new learning. I've driven 5 different karts, all different brands. I've been to tracks all over North America and competed against many people around the world. This is 6-year-old me before I stepped into a competitive event. Once you're an experienced driver, getting your G1/G2 and being careful and safe on the road will be a breeze. So what does it take to be a good kart driver? Number 1, natural skill. Number 2, conditioning. Number 3, safety. Number 4, practice. Natural skill. One skill is hand-eye coordination. Vision is also an important skill. I have 20/20 vision. Looking ahead, reaction time, and of course, training. Conditioning. Your size and weight determines if you're going to be competitive. Your strength so you can hold on to the wheel in those tough long races. Stamina, once again, for long races. And training to keep you fit. You must be safe. You could hurt yourself, and it is costly to wreck a car. As we start from the top, we have a helmet, a neck brace, a rib protector, gloves, shoes, and of course the suit. You will need a Snell-approved helmet that is 2 years or newer, a neck brace if you are under the age of 16, racing gloves, racing shoes, and a racing-approved suit. Practice does make perfect. Just getting to know your kart and getting more seat time can mean winning a race or losing a race. Yes. Karting is such a good way to learn to drive. KartStart is a program that travels across Canada, giving young people an opportunity to learn driving basics in a kart before taking driver's ed. Did you know that F1 drivers like Sebastian Vettel and Charles Leclerc started in karting? People know the future of F1 is in go-karting kids. So in 2018, they invited me to Montreal so I could be a Formula 1 grid kid and stand with some of my favorite drivers in F1. Ride with me in the 2019 Daytona Kart Week. Hi, I'm Carson, I'm going to show you around my 2020 Tony Kart STV 450. This is a super soft Greyhound racing seat, specially fitted for me. It is made out of fiberglass, very light, and is flexible, so the weight can be shifted around the corners. These are the Vega Blue compound of tires. This is what we use in Canada, and as you can see there, the rear tires are bigger as the power plant is giving all the power to the rear wheels. For wet situations, we have these rain tires, which have tread on them to optimize grip in rain. Now as we come to the other side, this is the gas and brake pedals. As you may see, you have to use both feet instead of using just one foot for both pedals. The gas is a throttle line that runs up to the engine. More on the engine later. And over here, on the braking, there is a rod. In here, there is brake fluid, which controls the brakes. And these lines back here go to these two pads, which go on to the caliper. Here is our Micron 5 GPS data tracker, and in this we can tell how our engine is revving, how fast we're going, what corners we are slow at, and the peak RPMs. There are different pages which tell you different data and different chart layouts. If we exit out of this there is a interface this is how I would be driving. There is an interface that tells us RPM, our track, the battery time, and all of the important stuff that we need to know. This also can plug into a laptop, and we can get all the data off of it and carefully review it so we could improve on for the next race. This is a Briggs LO206 racing motor. This is a 4-stroke motor specially designed for racing. This motor is used in most classes in local club racing. Overall, this is a great chassis. Highly recommend if you want to get into karting. Always fast. We do have some upgrades on here, but always been a fast kart and very well built. Now I had some new learning to do. I wanted to know a little bit more about how the engine works and how we can keep it at optimal performance.
Well, Carson, one of the things that we need to do is when we need to check this, and we check it every week, is what we do is called a leak down test on the motor. As the piston comes up in the cylinder, it goes into the head, and when the head is, both valves are closed, and we create compression, and we have, the compression stroke. If our valves are not sealed, we're not making ultimate power. There's two different valves. There's two valves in this motor. There's the intake and the exhaust valve. And they're in this head, like this. This is, as the motor rotates, the intake valve opens, allows the air-fuel mixture to come in, and it seals. The combustion chamber comes up, or the combustion stroke comes up, combusts. That's where the power is made. And at that time, the exhaust valve opens and lets all the burnt gases out. If this isn't sealed properly, we're not making ultimate power. So what we use this thing called a leak down tester. Okay, and we do this after every race. So how we do it, Carson, is we got to take the spark plug out, and we rotate the motor until So the piston is at top dead center. That's at top dead center right now. Okay, you can't really see it, but it's the piston at its highest point. From there, we use this tool that we've made here in the shop, just to hold everything in place, so that once we put air to it, if we didn't, the piston would go down to the bottom. From there, we're going to put in our hose that's going to pressurize the cylinder. It goes into the spark plug hole. Turn it in here. Make sure it's tight. And it goes into our leak down tester. Into the cylinder, we're going to pressurize the cylinder. So we add compressed air into the tool. We turn it up. You can see it's at zero. Both are at zero. 0 psi in the cylinder and 0 pressure on the cylinder. But as we turn it up, you can see the pressure on the air coming into the line and the pressure going into the cylinder. Now we've run this motor probably 5 times, psi in it, and we have some leak down. So this motor is not 100% sealed. So we're not making, well, this motor is kind of at the end of the spec. It's not 100%, not 100% sealed. So what would we do then? So we take this off here for now.
Now it's time for my turn to do it. We're gonna find top dead center with this screwdriver. Carefully put it in there and turn this until we can feel it go right to the top. And there is a little click indicating that we are top dead center. Next, we're going to, it may need a little bit of adjustment into here. We're going to slide the screw in. Now that it is locked, we put the hose into the cylinder / spark plug hole. Get it nice and tight in there. Next, we connect the hose to our machine. Make sure it's in there correctly. Airline. And we will just go slowly on the dial. Now that we are at 100 psi of pressure, we can see that there is some leak down on this motor. And as Dad said, we will usually lap the valves or we will cut them if necessary. Together, hardware plus software equals success, as you can see in this picture. Ready to get behind the wheel? I hope you learned something from this presentation. Any questions?